I have a question.
Wanda?
Can you tell me why on the finance management we did not go with the North Carolina School Board Association's policies? Because I have all of those copied here for you. Also, the numbers that are being presented are compared to every other district that I can find are extremely higher than the other ones. I have done it. I've got all the research here. Be glad to give anybody and made a little spreadsheet with the help of the North Carolina School Board Association that I reached out to. So I would like to know why on this one policy we did not follow the North Carolina School Board or use these policies are 6420, 6430, 6450. I'm asking, this is a Guilford County policy. This is not a North Carolina School Board recommended policy. There are a multitude of policies that are associated with purchasing and contracting and change orders and all these other policies. There's like 6 of them. And so my question is, all the other policies were pretty much straightforward North Carolina School Board policies.
I have the answer to that. So the policies, as Attorney Wilson explained in the Policy Committee, are not exactly from the School Board Association. In this case, this policy was brought forward to the committee last year and never made it to the board floor, but and it was voted affirmatively to send to the board for a vote, and somehow it never got there. But the reason that this is not in the new North Carolina School Board Association policy format is because I think there are 4 or 5 related policies to this. We don't necessarily need all 4 or 5, and even some that you have here would have had 2 or 3 policies. So we do not just take their policies because they're written for small districts. The reason we're moving more quickly on this one is because of the amount of money coming to the district and the need to make sure we are more effective and efficient in how we put forth contracts and purchase and conduct purchasing, given the $300 million bond referendum that just passed, and the nearly $300 million in ESSER funds at the request of our CFO. I also think that what Mrs. Jenkins was just saying is that these are no longer discussed on the policy during this meeting, but at the 30 days later. Is that right? Okay.
That's fine, but this is a critical policy. This is our main fiduciary duty. And I want the public to understand and be aware that this policy is being put out there. We're changing from contract services of 150, which is a generous number compared to all other policies in North Carolina, to 350. We are taking construction repair contracts from 300 to 500, and we're wiping out everything associated with change orders. Actually, we are extremely generous as we currently stand. To go to where we're going is the opposite direction. And I've got all the papers. I'll be glad to provide that. I am providing that. I'll ask my board attorney, do you know of any districts that are using this level of superintendent approval? Do you know of any? That doesn't mean it's fun, but do you know of any? I'm sorry to put you on the spot. Okay, well, that's fine. And I also would like to get understanding or have the public look at in this paragraph where it states, let's see where the beginning of the sentence is. I would
I'm working now. I would just like to know, and I wasn't privy to the policy committee meeting, and I know this has sort of come up before, this amount, and it is different. I mean, it is a bit of an outlier. I mean, if we're just looking at being reasonable, it's not that I distrust anyone. I don't trust anyone. So it just begs questions that I have so maybe in the policy committee meeting, what was other than giving us a little bit of maybe speed and agility, what are the other compelling reasons to have the amount changed? Because you look across the way at Charlotte Meck and Wake County, and it doesn't rise to that level. And I hear in these board meetings ad nauseum that, well, look at this district and look at this county and look what they do, and whether it's teacher supplements or all the comparisons that we do. But then for this particular item that I think does beg to have a light, shined on it, just that we're all on board and full transparency. I heard transparency mentioned a moment ago about RFQs, and so yeah, we agree. Transparency. What is the compelling reason? And it's not a $300 million bond. We've had bond referendums far greater than that in this county in the last 25 years. So it's not that we've got $300 million in bond money, which frankly is a lower number given the size of our district and all the needs that we have. So I'd just be curious, just more of a curiosity, is what was going on in the policy committee and how we got to the number.
Ms. Henry, would you explain why you asked for this policy?
Well, wait. Actually, a point of order about what we're asking for from the policy committee. We had robust discussion, right? And some of the things that I think you've asserted, Pat, are part of the discussion and not the wholeness of the discussion. But what we were trying to do also in the policy committee, there's a whole range of policies on this list, not this one in particular that you're drawing out. We talked about best process for how this board and the committee together could best discuss policy and move them through. And so the process that is allowable by law, Jill was with us, and this isn't related to this particular policy, it's our process, is that the policy committee has these robust discussions, passes a policy, they should go out to the public. So you've raised the issue, pay attention, go out to the public for comment. Then we should have our debate about it when it's informed with also the public comment. That when we debate this twice, it confuses the process, and that the law and this practice of us voting once and voting twice is really just a habit that's not a good practice. So we're not trying to squelch debate on this policy or any of the ones that we worked on, but to say our process is to say when the policy committee passes a policy, it goes out to the public. Everybody can read it, not just the folks who found it in the minutes and did the research. This is valuable for you. Others can look at the policy. The public can look at it. And then we pull all that back, and then we can have a discussion here at the dais about any of the policies, including this one, with the public comment. So instead of debating policies twice, so that's the process. So I don't know that we should speak. Well, it's the one we agreed on in the policy committee.
Hold on, we have got closed captioning, so let's just.
It is the one we agreed on we voted on in the policy committee, which is completely allowable by law and follows all of the standard processes for how to move through policy. So to get into this specific policy tonight, we're trying to get in a habit of doing things, better and more fully informed. Exactly what you want is, so the public should be able to give us input on these, and then we debate them fully here. So rather than unpacking the whole conversation on this policy, I'd rather see us stick to what we decided in the policy committee was the most clean way to move forward and get full, robust input before we debate and vote. So
Pat, Anita, Betty, and then
no
Linda.
idea what you just said.
I agree. I mean, I'm not trying to usurp the process and what you voted on and that you agreed on, but let's just, this type of policy raises the bar. It rises to another level. It's not like the boilerplate policies that we see and we're all fine with. I think, and that's the only reason I'm bringing it up. I'm not trying to debate it tonight. I'm just pointing out that I think any reasonable person that is duly elected would do and should do is to put a light on it, because it is different. It rises to another level than board chair responsibilities. All that stuff, we know that's boilerplate stuff. It's updated every 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years. Get it, got it. But this is just a little different. That's all I'm suggesting. And I think, I don't know that the public, they may not be looking at it like we are. And that's why we're elected, because we're elected to look at these things and to dig into the details and just ask questions. And that's all I'm doing. And I respect the process. I'm happy to let it go and to do the process you like. But this is the kind of thing that it rises to another level. That's all I'm saying. And I think most would agree that it does. And it's different than a more boilerplate type of update. Thank you.
Anita? Thanks, Pat.
In the policy committee, I tried to tell y'all that doing what we were doing, saying the board only has input after the public, I think we're the elected board, you are doing your board members a disservice. We were elected to develop this policy. You have taken the 4 of us on the policy committee and elevated us above the other members, the other 5 members of this board, and that is wrong. I tried to tell y'all that then, but the way the policy committee is constituted, I was outvoted and always will be.
Sorry, Betty. Yeah, thank you. Deborah and then Linda. And then Betty.
And I would have to agree with that. I get emails on the Fair to Regular asking, as a representative, what my opinions are on things and how my constituents know that they're represented, and they also want to get my feedback because, as Pat said, we're the ones responsible for reading these, for going through them, for making sure that, they are sustainable, maintainable, and congruent with what we already have in place, because the idea is not to rewrite every policy. We're matching it to the North Carolina Code. And so when I'm reading through these policies and I see something that stands out to me, before this goes to public comment, I would like the opportunity, if it is necessary, to say, public, my constituents, those who I need to represent, please know that this is one you may want to pay attention to. If out of these 16 policies, there's another mom out there like me who is should say another dad out there like Will, that is running around chasing kids, trying to get everything done, and they don't have time to read through all of these things, but they have their representative to look at them and say, this is the one you need to pay attention to. please do, and bring me your feedback. I'm looking for it for you. I am your representative. Please come communicate to me about this. I believe we should have that opportunity.
Linda?
I think Deborah said exactly. I mean, and I think Anita said it exactly. We are the policymakers. To send it out prior to us having a voice is disrespectful to me. It is also, like Deborah said, and I said, it is my opportunity to tell my constituents and the general public, not even just my constituents, the general public, that this is an important policy. Put your eyes on it, read it, because people are busy with their lives. And you know, we say, oh, we just read all those little nice numbers off, and there's a bunch of them, which is also a detour for people to even glance at these. So as a busy parent, you know, you just read through all that stuff, and people aren't paying attention. People aren't paying attention. So it's going to go out there, and there's going to be 0 comments on it. And so I have a problem with it. I think I should have an opportunity to speak prior to it going out, to draw attention to policies that I completely disagree with, okay? And let them know and have a voice. And if they want to ask me why, I am more than glad to tell them why. And they can put that information out there. So that's Linda Wellborn, and I agree with Anita that we need a voice before it goes out. And what I feel like is that I'm being silenced. Instead of being a part of the policy and being able to say something, I'm being silenced. That's my view.